Alright, for part 3 of the build, I'm starting the walls and roof. I got the first wall trimmed and kind of where I want it. So now I just need to take it out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray the Raptor liner in between here. Kind of marked it out kind of like a rough spray, just so I can get it bolted in. I still got to cut in the window and everything, but I'll do that after I bolt the panel in. So that's what I'm working on now. So I just got to pull this out and set up the Raptor liner. Oh, and then one thing I did, I mentioned it in the last video about these cracks. So the way I solved that is I used 5-minute epoxy and filled all the cracks. So hopefully that should help it from splitting anymore. So, well, I'm gonna pull this out and work on getting the Raptor liner sprayed just in the areas I want it for now, so I can bolt it in. Alright, so I sprayed the inside of the fender wells with the Raptor liner and the back sides. That way when I put the plywood walls up, that's already done. And for now, on the plywood walls, I just went around the kind of edge. That way I can bolt it in. Haven't decided if the window is going to go there or there, so that's why I left that blank. And then after I cut the windows in, wherever I decide to put them, and these are bolted in, when I go to Raptor line the whole thing, I'll just make sure I Raptor line these blank spots. So that's where I'm at right now. Next step is let this cure and then try to bolt it in. Alright, I got the lift wall installed. I got bed liner just sprayed around the perimeter. Well, I decide if the window is going to go here or here. The screws you'll see kind of stick out right here, but those will get cut flush and then tack welded. And then when the trailer's all done, it'll be completely bed lined. And then all these seams will be caulked. So right now I'm working on the right wall, and as soon as I get that done, then the roof. Alright, the right sidewall is now cut, notched for the top cross members. And basically what I'm going to use is this JB Weld 5-minute epoxy to fill these cracks. To hopefully prevent them from cracking anymore. That way once I spray the Raptor liner on there, it should be sealed pretty well. So, but that's what I'm using to fill the cracks in the plywood. Alright, I'm getting ready to spray the bed liner around the edges of the plywood for the right side wall and kind of behind where the wheel well is. So I'm using this custom coat bed liner. It's a nice little kit you get on Amazon. Comes with a spray gun and everything. But it's very simple. You just one of these to one of those. You shake it up for like 2 minutes, and then you just spray it with the supplied spray gun. So I'll put a link in the description for this stuff. I like it. It seems to work really well. It gets nice and hard. So I'm hoping it'll help seal the plywood on the exterior. Okay, I'm not going to video the whole thing, but this is pretty much how it goes on the gun. And it literally sprays nice on here. So I'm just going to go around and kind of fill in the edges and work behind the framework until I decide where I'm putting a window on this side. And then when I'm all done, I'll spray the whole trailer with this custom coat. I think Raptor Liner makes it, or Custom Coat makes Raptor Liner, but I don't know, either way it works really good, easy to spray, highly recommend it. Alright, so I got the walls and the roof up. I can't do this back wall until I get the door, because this is where the door will go. So I need to be able to cut the door opening out, then install the wall. That way I can get inside and screw it from the inside. What I still need to do though is come in through here. And I want to cut all these screws flush with the metal here, all the way around on the inside. And then same thing with the outside. On the outside here, what I'll do after I cut them, I'll just put a tack weld over them, and I hope they'll look like rivets almost. The roof is done. I did spray the leftover bed liner when I did this passenger side wall. I just sprayed on the front here, so I'm not wasting any. But on the roof, what I'll do is I'll go through and I'll fill all these over the screws. I'll fill those with epoxy and then sand them smooth. That way when I bed line the roof, it'll just be a smooth sheet. But so far, here's where we're at. Next step is, I believe the window's coming on, I think it's Monday. So once I get the windows, I can figure out if I want the window back here or up here and get them cut in. I got 2 windows coming, one for each side. And I'll probably order the door tonight so I can get that coming. And then the other thing I did on the roof up here, but I sandwiched, so I put butyl tape on top. So the butyl tape is kind of sandwiched in between the plywood and the metal frame to help keep moisture out. And then after I bed line everything, I'll caulk all the seams to make sure no moisture can get in. So, but that's where I'm at right now. And like I said, as soon as the windows come in, I'll start on that. And then the other thing I'll do is I'll go through and cut all these off and tack weld them so you can't see the screws that hold the plywood in. And then on the inside, the interior will probably be like a different part to this series. But to help hold the bottom of the plywood, I will be running 1x2s here, down here, and pin nailing them in and wood gluing them in. That will want to help hold the bottom of the wall, but also give me my 1-inch gap so I could put like 1-inch foam board in here for insulation. So other than that, that's where I'm at. Alright, so I got my windows cut in kind of on both sides there where they're going to go. And I also got the back wall in and the door cut out. It's actually a pretty large door. It's going to work good because I'm kind of a bigger guy. So these are the windows I got here. Kind of hard to see in there, but they're sliding windows with screens. There's the other window cut out. So next I got to go through and trim all these screws off and then tack weld them in. And then I'm going to rhino line the plywood completely with black. And then I made the decision that I'll come back and tape the plywood off, and all the steel will be rhino lined in like a green along with the roof. I'll do the roof in green too, as it's a little bit lighter in color, so it shouldn't draw too much heat. So it's kind of where I'm at, and we'll go from there. I'm gonna start on cutting those screws off and getting those welded in so I can finish the black rhino lining. So I got all the screws cut off flush, and then I went in and just put a tack weld on the end of the screws just to kind of hold them in place, lock them in. I think I'm going to leave the tacks though. You know, I'll clean them up, prime them, and bedline over them, but I think it might give it kind of like a rivet look. Kind of just add a little design to it once it's bedlined. So I'm going to go ahead and get some primer on those tacks and then let that cure, and then I'm going to finish spraying out the black bed liner on the walls. And then I'm just waiting for the rest of my Raptor liner to show up so I can do the frame and all the steel and the roof. Alright, well I got a little carried away while I'm waiting for more Raptor liner to come in so I can finish spraying it so I can install the windows and door. But in the meantime I decided to weld on these jacks as stabilizer jacks on the rear. They can pin and unpin, and then you can also pin them horizontally too, so they're up out of the way when you're traveling, or you can just remove them completely and throw them in a toolbox. And then on the front I got my hitch welded on, and I also welded a drop leg jack, and I raised the jack is pretty high off the ground, that way it clears but also drops almost all the way to the ground in that position, so I shouldn't need to crank it too much to get it on off the 4Runner. But that's where I'm at. So at this point I'm just waiting for some Raptor liner to come in, that way I can finish spraying it, spray the roof, and we'll go from there. I think I'm going to do the Raptor liner in a two-tone though. So the basically where the plywood is, that'll all be black, and then haven't decided on what other color the steel framework will be, and then obviously the fenders and steps. Not sure what color that'll be yet. But we'll just play it by ear. Like I said, I'm just winging this whole build. So I got the windows all mounted. There's one on each side and sealed up, so they should be good to go. I still got to spray some more bed liner, but I'll just tape them off. Here in Arizona we're getting ready for monsoon season to where we get some heavy rain, so I just want to make sure this is sealed up before we get into that. And then on the back here I got my door. So got a really good deal on this door, all because of this dent right here. It's like 50% off because of that dent. I could live with that. It's on the inside. But yeah, I just got to do the interior now. Windows in, doors in. I need about another gallon of bed liner to finish up the frame. I'm going to paint or bed line the fenders and everything a different color. I think like a dark green. Same thing with all the angle iron. This will get recolored. So from the plywood will stay black, but all the metal will get different color. That way it kind of two-tones it, so it just doesn't look like just a big black trailer or a small black trailer. Kind of give it a little bit of life. But that's where I'm at. As soon as I get the bed liner in, we'll finish the bed line, and then that'll be into this series, and the next one will be the interior. and solar probably. So thanks for watching. Alright, the Raptor liner is now done. I went with green and black, kind of a two-tone look to it. Really like how it turned out. Stuff's pretty easy to spray on yourself, but that's kind of where I'm at now. Next up is get it back on its wheels, and then I'm gonna wire up the lights. I decided the tongue I'm just gonna paint it, not gonna Raptor line it. Same thing with the jack there where I welded it on. That'll just be painted black. But yeah, next up is wiring up the lights and everything, and then I'll get a rooftop vent for it and maybe the solar, and just start wiring up the interior lights and electrical and finish the interior.